Thank you. All righty. Hey, guys. Thanks for coming. Good seeing a full house. But it's a pleasure being at Startup Grind. I've done Startup Grinds, I think, in 8 countries around the world, everywhere from Asia to Australia to multiple places in Europe. And kind of Startup Grind has some of this gritty, authentic nature there is to the whole startup ecosystem, the true fabric of the startup ecosystem. So it's always a pleasure meeting you guys and hear what's going on. I have 10 minutes. Well, I thought I had 10 minutes, now it says 15 minutes here. So maybe we're going to stretch it a little bit. I have 10 minutes, I have 14 minutes to talk about your customers and why it's both so important and so incredibly painful to deal with these goddamn customers, especially where you are today. But let me start by giving you a brief introduction to Zendesk. This is the beginnings of Zendesk. We were working out of a tiny loft, and the loft was the size of what you see here. In Copenhagen, Denmark, building the product, launching it. This is about 10 years ago. Myself and one of my founders, the other founder, took the picture. This is, 20, 30 pounds ago. But we had a lot of hair. We had a lot of hair back then. I don't know why, but we had a lot of hair. So this was the humble beginnings of Zendesk, and it's probably a very, very recognizable picture for a lot of you guys. This is how you start, sitting, working wherever you can, focusing on the product and being knee-deep in the product. The journey since then has been super fun, interesting, challenging, all these things, beyond anything we had planned or dreamed or even envisioned. So 2007 we launched our product. 2 years later we moved to San Francisco, set up shop here, start building a team, raised money. 5 years later we took the company public on the New York Stock Exchange. And we are today a company with, we have 16 offices around the world. We're a little over 2,000 people. We made in 2017 $430 million in revenues, which is still like, how do we get there? We sold a product $19 a month, and I don't know how we get to $430 million in revenue, but somehow you get there as you scale things. And yes, we have a lot of customers. The official count by the end of 2017 was 119,000 paid customer accounts. That's really, really cool. It's really humbling. We have more than 1 million people using our tool as their daily work tool all around the world, serving billions of transactions every year, helping businesses engage better with their customers. It's a fantastic journey. And it's unbelievable when you look back at where you started to suddenly be part of this story. Along the way, won a lot of customers, and it's really been a privilege to see and follow kind of the explosive growth that has been the startup ecosystem over the last 10 years. We've been so fortunate to work with a lot of these defining companies that have, in their own ways, changed the world. Some of these companies, massive growth companies, Groupon in the old days, Uber still growing like crazy, Airbnb. We saw all of these companies grow from the inside. But of course, with 100,000 customers, we've grown way beyond the startup ecosystem. We're working with any kind of company now, like manufacturing, telecom, airlines, helping them kind of modernize and taking their customer service, their customer engagement to live up to consumer expectations today. But it's still fantastic to work with startups. We learn so much from working with startups because you guys are defining the world. You're defining the future. When we work with established companies, they're all just trying to do what you're doing before you're disrupting them. So we learn so much from working with you guys. I'm wearing my Allbirds today, another great startup that is that is growing like crazy, and everybody wants to do what all birds are doing today. So it's pretty awesome. We learn so much from it. But today, talking a little bit about exactly the customers and this kind of cliche that I say all the time, and we all hear all the time, that in your business, it's the customers that are the heart of your business. And it's one of these things that's just so much easier to say than to do, because especially in the early days, when you sit there, you launch your product, you start getting trialists. People sign up for it, they start engaging with you, start chatting with you, start calling you, they start sending all these emails, and they're just painful. It's painful conversations. It becomes like, oh, you're charging $19. Like, let me give you 16 reasons why this product is only $11 worth. Let's talk about this configuration, because apparently you do not understand how the real world works since you set up the configuration like that. Let me tell you all about the problems that I have in my business that you're not solving with your product. You have all these incredibly painful conversations, and like, as startup founders, it's really hard sometimes to engage in those conversations. It's really hard to expose yourself, be vulnerable, and kind of taking all these conversations with all these customers, because you somehow have to put yourself out there, and you're exposing yourself. And if you can just focus on the product, just work with the product, and we all know that as a startup founder, you should be kind of obsessed with the product and so on. Like, the product doesn't yell at you, The product never tells you that you're wrong. The product always loves you. Like, your product is like a dog, while your customers are like your girlfriend and or your boyfriend. Like, Startup Grind, normally it is like a sausage party. I see we do have a little bit of female representation here today, but there is an analogy here that most startup founders are not the first people on the dance floor, because most startup founders are relatively introvert people. They like dealing with technology, they like dealing with product. You were not the first guys on the dance floor, were you? No, you weren't. And it's like that thing you have to overcome to be the first person on the dance floor, to be the first who goes over and asks another person across the room to get out and dance. That is the same thing you have to overcome to start really engaging with your customers and really understand, like, how can my product really be successful for that company or for that person? So we were 3 founders. We were all introvert people. We all loved working with our product, but we also knew that we had to get over this. We had to get over this to kind of really understand our customers and ultimately, thereby, really understand our product. And so working against what was natural for us helped us build a much better product and help us make the foundation for what became a very successful company. But it was hard. Don't pretend it's not hard to engage at that level with your customers. And the crazy thing that it never stops. This tweet is like 1 week old. And Ned here, I don't know Ned, but like Ned is very convinced that we build this garbage system. And like these 100,000 businesses that are using Zendesk, they're just using garbage. And I don't know who Ned is. Ned could be sitting in his mom's apartment, or maybe Ned runs a company somewhere. I don't know. But it's really hard engaging with customers this way. It's really nobody likes to kind of start that conversation that can become really awkward. But it is important. We have to engage with Ned. We have to understand him, because like, if we don't understand him, we're never going to learn about our product. The cool thing is that like customer engagement, when people take the time to talk to you, like this is a rare opportunity to see the tip of the iceberg. Because if Ned thinks that our notification emails are garbage, and he takes the time to write a tweet about it, like, there are other people who feels like that. So having this opportunity to really understand from Ned why our email notifications are garbage, even though it's a painful conversation, and you don't know if Ned is 14 years old or he's like the CEO of a public company, you have no idea. So it quickly becomes awkward. Is Ned here today? No. It is important, because the thing is that you all hear this thing about like customers always right, and to some extent the customer is always right, even when they're wrong. So this thing about understanding that your customer taking the time to sit down, give you feedback, is something that is incredibly valuable for your business. I'm of course, as Zendesk, we have a self-serving purpose here, because Zendesk, what we built was a system to engage with all your customers. So it became natural for us, and it became part of a DNA, and we actually learned a lot about how we should build our product from kind of embracing the awkwardness of really, really engaging with your customers. And that helped us build a much better product. And we want all startups to be able to engage really well to our customers. So that is also why we have a really, really good startup program. You can use Zendesk for free. Go to this page, zendesk.com/startups, sign up, and you can use Zendesk for free, because we believe that you all deserve learning about yourself, learning about your products by engaging with your customers. So go there, sign up for free, and Zendesk is all yours. If you want to learn more about the old awkward Zendesk days, I wrote a book about it. It's only $9 on Amazon. So if you're more interested in that story, you can go to amazon.com and buy Startup Land for $9, especially if you're from outside the Silicon Valley, San Francisco ecosystem. It's a fun kind of understanding how Silicon Valley, San Francisco works, seen from the perspective of an outsider coming here. I think it'd be a good lesson. So with that, I'm just going to say that, you are a startup. Enjoy the ride. It's fun. It's exciting. You are going to fail, because that is the case for 99% of all startups. But it's a super interesting journey, so remember to enjoy it, and you'll learn from it, and you will build a much better company next time. So good luck with that.